Happy Friday. It is episode 8 of The Industry, which blows my mind. I'm so excited to be here with you guys as always, so I hope you guys are fabulous. If you're here with us live, please let me know in the comments if you're here live. And I was saying, but you couldn't hear me, that we love when you guys interact in the comments when you're live with us. We love for you to just respond, give us comments and feedback based off the conversations that we're having. Any questions that you have, put it in the comments because we might answer them at the end of today's episode, but also we like to look at your feedback and answer questions in episodes that are coming up and all the things. I was saying how much I love Ruthie and Marli because they are our guests today. But before I go into that, I was also saying if you're not following us on TikTok, follow us on TikTok. I am Exogingy, I think that's my handle. I don't know, I should know my handle. But the reason that I really want to highlight this is we're posting on TikTok every single day, and it is content that I don't post anywhere else. So it's different than my Instagram, it's different than Facebook, it's different than everywhere, and there's like now basically 2 months worth of daily videos on TikTok that has not been posted anywhere else. So I post some of my reels that are the same on TikTok, on my Instagram, but Jake is doing his thing and we've got amazing content on TikTok, so go over there. What else do I have to say? I'm kind of like a scattered energy today right now, because that's just who I am. But we have this, and then I have to decompress for a couple hours because we have the Reframe Masterclass. So if you're in the collective or you're signed up for the Reframe Masterclass and you're here, let me know because I'm excited to hang out with you guys later on today, and we have a really big, important training coming later. So, that being said, we have Ruthie on today and we have Marli. I feel like emotional even just thinking about Ruthie and Marli because I love them so much. They've been in my world for, I think Ruthie, it's been like a year and a half now. Marli has been longer. They are people that I love, I admire. They do really incredible work in the world with their coaching businesses, but I know them, I've worked with them closely, both of them, and I just think they're the most incredible humans, down to earth. They care about their work, they show up, you're just gonna get to know them and you're gonna fall in love with them. So I'm very excited to bring them on today and to just share them with you guys. And yeah, so we have Ruthie coming on first.
We do.
Okay. Ruthie. So excited. Okay, so Ruthie, you can go ahead and unmute. Hello, Ruthie. I'm so excited. When I saw that you were on today, all I thought was like, oh, I miss Ruthie. I am so excited to be able to talk to you. So if you just want to share a little bit about who you are and what you do just with the audience and the community, and then we can dive in and chat about whatever you want to chat about today.
Yeah, you bet. Cool. This is really exciting, and I'm like shaky and nervous and excited.
Me too. It's okay.
I'm Ruthie Cease. I'm a business coach who focuses on helping clients scale to 6 figures, 7 figures through embodiment work and strategy. And yeah, really embodying this like rebel soul, this version of you that goes against the norm, who doesn't really care what other people think, who is fully herself in all the things that she does. So yeah, that's what my business is. And I've been, like Steph said, I've been in her world since I think August of last year. So we're coming up on a year and a half. I started in a program. I can't remember what it was. And then I moved into the collective, and then I moved into, it was the Voxer Mastermind. Then
the Voxer Mastermind. That's how I first remember you. And I remember when you joined, I remember being so excited and so surprised because I didn't really know you. And I was like, who is this person just jumping in a Voxer Mastermind? And then been in love with you since. So it's just so fun to think about how we connect. You know what I mean? It's so good. So, So what is on?
6-month mastermind too.
Yes, I know. And the thing, and when like I said, whenever I saw that you were on today, it just made me think about how much I miss you and how much I love you. So I'm glad that you're here. So, what's going on in your world? Like, what's top of mind for you right now in life and business? Do you have something you want to talk about, questions, or just like riff on?
I do. I have like 3 questions.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll start with the biggest piece of mentorship that I've ever received came from you. And it's something that I will like never forget. It makes me like emotional thinking about it. You can hear it in my voice. But it's something that I think about literally every single day. It's like in the back of my mind when I make choices or when I build programs or when I'm setting up for launches or whatever. It was just so profound for me. And you said, I want to see you commit to yourself the way that you commit to others. And I'll never forget it. But I would love to know if you've ever struggled with that yourself, and how do you embody that and do that for yourself now, especially as, you know, a 7, 8 figure earner with so much visibility and so much heart in this industry.
Oh my God. Well, like this is so good. Well, here's the thing is like in my experience, the bigger, quote unquote, bigger we get, like the bigger our businesses get, the more visibility, like you said, the more people in our world, the more important this is for us to put ourselves first. Because if we don't, then we can't carry people, we can't carry more clients, we can't carry more powerful clients, we can't carry all that business brings as we scale. And so it's like it's hard sometimes because it's like, I know your heart, right? And that's why this was such a big coaching moment for you. It's like we want to give to everyone. You want to give your everything to people. You want to give your everything to clients. And sometimes there's we go too far and then we're not giving to ourselves. So we cross our own boundaries or we put people first. Then we're over delivering. We are, you know, we're like lowering our standards or, you know, creating special things for people. And we know like we shouldn't, but I want to. And it's like, the heart is there, but there comes a point where it's like we can't do that anymore if we want to continue to grow. But also the way that I see it is like, in my experience, it's like I have to protect myself even more as I bring people into my world, right? Because it's not just like I bring in a client. It's like if I do something and I cross my own boundary or bring in the wrong person or let someone in on a special payment plan and that goes wrong, my heart is going to be upset. And I know that you could, so if my heart is upset and I leave myself vulnerable, then that is going to impact my other clients because I'm going to be upset. That's going to impact how I show up on my social media. That's going to impact how I show up on a group training because I'm hurt by that. But that was my own fault, right? So that's where it's like the more you put you first, then you are able to put other people first and hold the quality of the coaching, the containers, your business. You know what I mean? So I look at it, it's like, it's not just of service for us, it's of service for everyone else. You know what I mean? So it's just like, and I know that like, you know this, I know people listening know this, but it's easier said than done. Like there's times where I'm just like, yes, I'll bring you in. Like, yes, I'll cross my own boundary. And then I'm like, no, like I shouldn't have done that. So that's what it is I just think as we grow it's more and more important because like from in my experience anyway, like my energy is number one. My energy and my happiness is number one or else this doesn't grow. You know what I mean? So it's like I have to put myself first. You know what I mean? And so I just think it's, if you could look at it from the angle of it's of service for everyone, not just you, then it's easier to do.
Well, but how do you reframe that on a regular basis when like you also know it's of service to get into your container?
Well, here's
right?
the thing is,
fuck.
Yeah, but there has to be boundaries and standards around coming into a container, right? So there has to, so that's like, it is a price and these are the options and these are the payment plans. And if that doesn't work, it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong. It doesn't mean that that person can't ever come in. It just means right now. You know what I mean? It's like the way that I see it is like our boundaries and our standards, our pricing, whatever it may be, that is to protect the entire container. That is to protect you. That's to protect the people that are in it. And so, yes, your container is of service. And yes, that person joining, that's a good thing. But if they can't, based off of the way you have it set up, then they just have to wait until they can, or figure it out until, you know what I mean? Like, and that's you holding the quality of the service you deliver in that container. And if someone can come in, amazing. If someone can't, I just believe someone can later. But also, the way that I see my business as well is like free content is for everyone. That's of service. So there's something for everyone. And it's never like you can't be in this. It's like maybe if you can't right now, that's okay. But one day I believe you can. And so that's that. And so, but if I let everyone in, or if I cross my own boundaries and just let anyone in, that's not protecting the container. That's not protecting the people who fought to be there now. That's not protecting the people who follow the rules or the boundaries and the standards to be there. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's protection for everyone, including your work.
Yeah. And I look at it too as like, we can remove the emotion and now we're just talking business. And this is why we have a product suite, so that if like someone isn't in a position to be able to invest at the like lower end of the funnel, where it's like higher ticket, more expensive or more exclusive, higher proximity, then you can downsell them into something that fits where they're at.
100%. And the thing is, I talk about this a lot with many clients, is I believe so strongly in my low ticket stuff. Like it's not like, oh, you can only buy $100 thing. I'm like, this $100 thing will change your life. Like, I believe that about all my stuff, no matter what the price point is. And so then it doesn't feel like, oh, I'm missing out on a higher ticket thing if it's not available for someone right now. It's like, well, I want you to be in this. And I also believe that my other stuff will get people into the higher thing faster. Like, I believe that about my stuff. And so I think that it really is a belief thing about our own stuff, and it's believing in other people. Like, I believe that if someone can't afford my mastermind today, I believe that that person is so powerful that next month they figured it out and they're in. Like, there's something about that. You know what I mean? There's something about giving someone that power to be like, it is okay that you can't have this right now, or you can't join this right now, but I believe that you want it and you're gonna go figure it out, and before we know it, you'll be back. And there's something about giving someone that confidence to go figure it out and come back and be like, I'm here and I made this work, instead of being like, let me give you a 24-month payment plan of $399. Like, that's no. Someone will rise. Someone will rise. Yeah, Ruthie's like, damn it, I've done that.
And, that was how I invested in my first mastermind, was like, oh, I had a conversation with this woman and was just like, yeah, this isn't a good time for me. I'm not able to do that in my fullest capacity and know that like I can make every single payment on time. But I came back like 3-4 months later and was like, yep, I'm ready. Let's do this. So I love that you shared, it's the belief in other people. And that's huge. Okay. So I'm going to ask the next question just so for the sake of time. Okay. How do you see the industry changing, and how do we stay ahead of the curve as leaders?
I feel like I get asked this every week, and I'm always just like, I don't know what to say. No, it's okay. No, it's okay, because it's good. It's good because here's the thing, you guys. I will always have an answer. Is it the perfect answer? Is it like specifically the right answer every time? I don't know. The first thing that comes to my mind is social media, in the sense of, I really feel like when we think about like the people who are going to get ahead, I just think about are going to be the people who are already starting to be more and more innovative on social media. Because at the end of the day, it's like the people who are seen, you have something going on social media, and we're all on social media, which is amazing. But I just think that the coaches who are standing out and being a little bit more creative, whatever that means, but this is the other piece, and I know you're all about this, is I think that the coaches who stand out on social media are the coaches who are embodied, right? So it's the people who are like, I'm me and I'm okay being me. This is the work that I do. I'm proud of the work. And they're very embodied and authentic, and that's translating onto their social media. There's something about that. I think that this isn't necessarily how is the industry changing, but I think that if you're a coach who's just doing the bare minimum on social media and you look like everyone else, people can feel that. and it's like, oh, there's something missing. And so I think that standing out on social media does come back to just being confident and doing the inner work ourselves, because we all know social media is a reflection of like how we feel and who we are. So the more that we can do that work and then we share it on social media, the more we're going to stand out. But I think that it's that. And then also, I don't know specifically what this looks like, but I think that we're starting to see more and more innovative offers, right? Like you can have very different, like it doesn't have to be the same old 3-month, 6-month, 9-month packages of coaching. It doesn't have to be necessarily how most year memberships are looking. Like I think the more innovative we can get with offers of what that looks like and what the containers look like will be really good, because what I'm seeing now, and maybe you're seeing this too, is like people, maybe these are more advanced people and maybe it's more for coaches, but people want to be coached by you, but they don't really care how. In the sense of, it's more about how is it convenient for my lifestyle. So that's why, even though it's become like kind of like jokes on the internet of like not doing calls, but it's the reason that people don't do calls is because that doesn't fit for their lifestyle. So that's why I think Voxer and messaging became this thing that it's like, well, I would rather do that. But I'm thinking about, well, why do people rather want to do that? And it's because it fits their lifestyle. So I just think more innovative coaching containers, even the way that programs are delivered, I just feel, and again, I don't know necessarily what that looks like, but when I think about it, I just think if we all run containers however the hell we want to run containers, that's perfect, right? Like there's no, oh, I should do a group program like this, or I should do a membership like this. I think do it however you want to do it. That's the point of coaching anyway. Like we all share our own methods in our work with people. So why not just create more innovative structure as well? And so I'm excited for us to just all experiment with different ways. And I think that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I definitely think that it's having the confidence and the self-trust to try new things and see what works for you, like trying different business models, or say you want to try a podcast platform for a program, or shorter audios for the way that you drip your content and your offers or whatever, or having a membership where you share about your breakthroughs. Those kinds of things I think are really, it's the different ways we add more value that are unique to us, right?
Exactly. And oh, sorry, I was just gonna say, and I think, like for me, I always think about what is the most efficient way for me to deliver the content to them, because we're coaches, but we're living our lifestyle. You have a family, you have children, you have a million other things happening. So it's not just like what's good for them. It's like, what is easy for me, right? And so that's why it's like what you were saying. It's like some people are good with audio. Some people like still long form like video and they're on Zoom, right? Great. Some people like audio calls. Some people like, and so I think that it's just asking yourself, how do I work best as a coach? And also, what is the way that's most effective for my current lifestyle? And then we always have the freedom to adapt based off of what we want.
Without sacrificing value. I think that's the most important thing, is that just because we get innovative with our delivery doesn't mean that we like slack on value. And that's how we stay ahead of the curve.
100%.
Yeah. Cool. Yay, that's so cool. It inspires me to like go, okay, how can I be different? Like, just talking about it. So yay. Okay, my last question. All right. With a scaling business, so much is about mindset and energetics. What tools do you use to help your clients move through those kind of mindset or inner blocks? And how do you help? What tools do you use to help yourself move through mindset and inner blocks? And then what tools do you help your clients with? Like, what tools do you help with your clients?
Yeah. Well, for me, it always comes back to like noticing the thought and realizing if it's actually true or not. Right? It's so in alignment with what I'm going to be talking today about today in reframe. But it's like if I have a fear or a thought or a doubt, or if a client is like, oh, I want to sell this, but I'm afraid of blah blah blah, or oh, this isn't working. Like I look at the thought and I ask them, like, is this actually true, or are you just focusing on it so it feels true? So I'm all about noticing when I have fears, doubts, thoughts, and as soon as I notice, I look and I ask myself, is this actually true? Do I have evidence that this is true, or is it just a thought? The moment that I can realize that it's quote unquote just a thought and it's not true, then I stop focusing on it, and then I reframe it to create what actually is true, or the positive outcome that I actually want. So the way that I do that for me, and I think this is different for everyone, I do really well when I voice things out. So whether it's to my mentor or to like Eric or even to myself, and I say what I'm thinking, that makes it a little bit more real. And I'm like, oh, this actually is not even true. Or you know, when you say something out loud and you're like, that is so silly, that is insane, like this is what? You're like, yeah, you're like, this is not me, this is just not it. And so when I can voice something out, whether it's to myself or someone else, then I can see, and I'm like, this is just, one, it's not true, and also two, I don't want this to be my story, and then I reframe or prove it wrong or whatever it may be. So even with my clients, like when we have conversations about, you know, I don't know, like the fear of selling something, or if something's not working, or you know what I mean? It's like words are so powerful, right? Words are so like if a client says it's not working, it's actually, that's not true. That's never actually the case. It's like, it feels like it's not working. So then it's actually a happiness thing, a worthiness thing, I don't feel good enough thing, but yet it actually is working. So you know what I mean? So it's really, I pay attention to what my clients are actually saying, and then I will reflect back to them like, is this actually the truth, or you just feel that way? And because you feel it, it feels like it's true, but it's not actually true. So it's like noticing the evidence versus the feeling, because feelings are real, but the thought isn't necessarily true. And so when we can actually see the truth, then it's like, oh, this isn't as bad as it seems. And then we shift the energy because we're seeing the whole situation from the truth, not just the emotions. And that's also why for me, like my mindset work is also like my fitness, my health, my sleep, you know what I mean? Because when I'm in my emotions, my head is all over the place. So the health for me allows me to like stay as best as I can in like a neutral energy. So then my mindset is just very like basic, for lack of a better term. So that I don't, but so that's, self-awareness is number one. And I think that it takes practice to gain self-awareness, but I've gained so much self-awareness over the years just by saying to myself, be more self-aware. So I can notice, am I nervous right now? Why am I nervous? Am I overthinking right now? Or does my body feel anxious right now? Okay, yes. Like, why? Is there anything actually wrong? What are you thinking about that you're creating anticipation of fear in your mind? Like I just really notice. So when I can be in touch, and I know you're all about this, how my body is feeling and what I'm thinking, I can just be aware. And to me, that awareness is our superpower, because then we just can associate between what is real and what's not.
And how do you think that has expanded your business? Because I know for me, the deeper I go into my own like self-awareness, and the deeper that I drop in, so to speak, like quote unquote, because that's a little bit of a buzzword, right? Like let's buzz phrase, drop in, right? People think it's like so trendy and so cool, but it's like a real tool that we have, is to drop in and connect to ourselves. Like I know for me, that has just been the catalyst for my business growth. What about for you?
100%, because if I even think to myself, the first 2 years, I was not self-aware. So my first 2 years, I was just in like autopilot. And so when we're in autopilot, we are literally just doing things based off of reaction. So now it's like when I can drop in, or however we want to call it, and just be self-aware, or drop in, so trendy, be self-aware, then everything that I do is more intentional. And when we are doing things from an intentional place, then you're making better business decisions. Then you're thinking a little bit more before you put, like, the way that you sell something, or you make a piece of content, or before you talk to a client. So everything, from, in my experience, the way I describe it is like I slow down energetically to be more present, and then I'm more intentional, and then we make better decisions that grow your business. Just because of the small, for me, it's like the small moments, better decisions in every moment, then I feel better. So 100% it has helped me, but also your quality of life is just better, whether the business is growing or not. You know what I mean? And that's actually what matters. So that's where happiness and health and emotional intelligence comes from. And I think when we're not grounded, we're just, like I said, we're always reactive, and we're always in a state of like, I need to do something, or I need to react, but like that's not happiness, that's just autopilot. So to me, it's like, don't just do this to grow the business, do this to get happy, to be more present, have a better quality of life. That's gonna feel good and grow your business.
Yep, exactly. I love that. Thanks for sharing. That's all that I had. I loved this conversation.
We have something for you, because Jake does his homework.
Uh-oh.
He's just like, oh God, this is scary. We have something for you.
Oh, I'm excited. What's up?
I'm just gonna throw this up on the screen. So this is
my God.
Your first post on your new account. And, you know, a lot of people make new accounts. It's not super unusual, but what did this do for you in your business? And this post specifically, it's very kind of open, honest post. And how did that change things for you?
Let me see this post. When was that? Oh my God.
It was like years ago.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, so this on my Instagram. Yeah.
Your very first.
So about a year and a half, or it was like, actually, I started my business overnight in 2017. I was just like coming out of a really tough time in my network marketing with Beachbody. And I was just like, I feel really capped, and I just am not happy. I want to do more than help people with fitness. So I like whipped up a bunch of stuff, a bunch of offers in a Google Doc, and I launched the next day and was just like, fuck it, let's just run and see how it goes. I signed 2 clients that day, and it just sort of took off ever since. But my Instagram felt really heavy because it was all like, I was just in a really, like, the first like 4 years of my online experience doing coach work, like with Beachbody. I still consider that a part of my journey. So I've really been at this for almost 10 years. The very like first 4.5 years when I was with Beachbody, I bought a lot of followers. I had no real understanding of how to use social media. We were really taught like to be very transparent and take people on the journey with you. And I believe that still to be true, but I just have a whole different concept and understanding of the content strategy. But at that time, I wanted to start over with more quality, like-minded, authentic people who were like me, who are following for me and my story. And so this is like my very first branding shoot. So it's kind of embarrassing, but also really cool to see how far it's come. And this was just my decision to shut down that account of like 10, 12,000 followers and start over and just build from the ground up. So that's what I did. And I've always just been I've always been a very open book on social media. And I've actually had to learn over the last few years, having, getting remarried and having 2 kids, and having a husband who is not as open as me, how to kind of scale back and not share so much of my life. But this is really cool to see this.
I just think like like the way that you look from that picture to now, like what a transformation. You know what I mean? Like the story is amazing, but just like to see, and I think that you saw that, I was like, oh my God, like you can just tell like the energy in your face compared to now, like how, that's amazing though, to see that transformation. Like, but you created that just through the work that you literally take people through. You did that on your own, and you can see the life, the health in your face now, and the energy and everything. I just think, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, wow.
Oh my God. Jake's so good at like digging around in people's stuff, but this is why we love to share. Like these stories I think are so cool to share. So you're amazing.
Yeah. Thank you. That was really kind of a surprise that I wasn't expecting.
Ah, yes. Oh my God, it's so fun. Well, thank you, Ruthie, for being on. You know, I love you so much, and I think the world of you, and I'm excited. Thank you for being here and spending time with us. And if you guys are watching this, you want to connect with Ruthie, maybe you'll comment later or whatever, people can connect with you. But I love you, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. This was awesome.
Yay! All right. Oh, so good. So freaking good. All right. Next up, we have Marli. Where's Marli? Ah, there she is. Hi, Marli. Oh my God. Okay, I'll just let you come right on up, and you want to introduce yourself to everybody, and then we'll just dive in.
Amazing. So I'm Marli. Hi. I feel like I haven't like had a one-on-one with you in so long.
I know.
So I coach business specifically in energetics and leadership, heavy emphasis on those. I always say I'm a spiritual teacher first because the mission has always been for me about awakening people. And the fastest way that I can do that is by helping other women build their platforms, start their businesses, get their work out into the world. So I coach business, but heavy emphasis on spirituality and energetics. And we're actually now just starting to develop a spiritual coach training program, which is like teaching leaders actually how to transformational coach using the modalities of subconscious mind and identity and energy work and embodiment and coaching skills. So everything is really amplifying right now, and it's very exciting.
This is amazing. I'm so excited for you. As soon as you said that, I'm like, yes, like this is just so you. It's so exciting to witness. So, so what's on top of mind for you today? What's going on?
So much is going on. Well, so I want to say, you know, this level of my business that I'm at now, you have been such a huge part of it. And in my business, yes, but like more emphasis on who I have become, you know, like the behind the scenes of the leadership and who I'm being, like not just front and center when I'm in front of people, but the getting up in the morning, the doing the workouts, the like, how am I leading myself on an everyday basis? And that has just been like, I've been with you a long time. I don't even know when I started, but I watched your evolution from coach to leader. And as I watched it, it was like you were speaking things that I had felt for so long, but I couldn't articulate it. I couldn't put it into words. And then as I was watching you like become the embodiment of it, it was like, this is my home. You know what I mean? Like I'm in it. Like I'm in love. We're here. We're doing it for life. I want to know that evolution inside for you, because I watched it, I witnessed it, I had the conversations with you, but that decision of like, it's not just a coach. I'm not just being a coach. Like I'm leading people. I'm leading a movement. I'm leading next level embodiment. Like I want to know the internal, the what was going on inside as you went through that evolution.
My God, you guys, this is why we bring you guys on, because you bring the juice right here. Well, here's the thing is when I think about my internal or my experience through that transformation, and I see Ruthie in in our Zoom says, I remember stuff 2019, 2020, excited to hear this. Like that was hard. That was not sunshine and rainbows. That's like, you're facing your shadows, you're facing jealousy, you're facing comparison, you're facing money shit, you're facing people leaving, you're facing your relationship with everything up until that point. Right? So it was almost like at the beginning was very much just like, I'm trying to make this work. I'm trying to be a coach. I'm trying to sell these things. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, there's that, but then it becomes something where, okay, I did that, but there's something more here. So I went through this phase where it's like, I don't just want to be some coach selling offers on social media. I want to live a life where I'm like fully embodied and I feel like my whole life is working for me, and I want people to feel that too, and that be their intention when they're in my world. So it was almost like at the beginning it was like, I just want people to buy my stuff. And now it's like I'm living my life for me and I'm doing big things, and the level of people I want to come into my world have to match that. So how do we become a match for those kinds of people? It's all the embodiment behind the scenes, the leadership, like you're saying, but we have to work through all of the shit. So that obviously looks different for everyone, but for me it was like, how am I handling when things go wrong? How am I handling comparison or jealousy? Or what is my actual relationship with money? What am I still holding on to? Where am I, kind of like what Ruthie and I were talking about, where am I not following my own boundaries and my standards? So it was cleaning up my own energy and my own stuff behind the scenes that allowed me to then step into more of like a leadership energy of like, this is me and I'm doing this for me and I'm building something much bigger. This is about, you know what I mean, a bigger mission, and people can feel that now when they come into my world without me having to say it, because you just see how I am and how I live my life and how I run my business. So I think that it's that evolution, and I'll let you reflect back, but it's like, to get there, we have to clean up our own stuff. That we have to, it's where it's like, it's not just who I'm being on social media, it's how am I waking up in the morning? How am I treating myself? How am I speaking to myself? How am I treating my body, my physical body, my mind? Like, it's cleaning up of everything. It's like, actually is, if I'm going to coach people and tell people and give people certain advice, well, I better be really living up to that myself, or that's just not going to work. So it's just the enhancing of everything. And it's hard, but you get there and it's like, it all makes sense. Like it all, like my life and my business, and when I see the people who are in my world, when I see doing this and I see you guys here and I see just how everything has evolved, I'm like, well, of course, because I raised the bar for me.
100%. And you can feel that. Like, and I feel that. I remember I'm not going to say it was the first, but it was the first time that I saw a video that you did and I paid attention. And it was this video, I mean, it was years ago, but it was like, you sat there and you said, you have to sit here. You can't sit over here wanting to be here. You have to sit here and you have to be here. And there was something about, literally, I was in bed, and I don't bring my phone to bed kind of person, but for whatever reason, this one night I had my phone in bed. And it was like one video on your whole Facebook. And that was it. It was like, I paid attention. And in watching that, it was like something occurred for me in my understanding of, it's so much more than just what I'm teaching. Like, because I teach a lot of concepts. I teach a lot about the energy behind it, the spirituality and like the healing and all of that. I teach a lot of concepts. And I actively practice it, but there was this very practical piece of like, but what are you doing? You know what I mean? What are you doing? Are you doing the actual actions that embody leadership? You know, because it's like, if I could have it my way, I would just sit in my couch and meditate all day, and like, that's what I would do. But there's this part of me that very much like, I want to be, I have this huge vision, and I know you know this feeling when you can see it so clearly and you can feel it so clearly. And then there's this part of you that just feels like there's something that's falling short of getting there. And when it finally clicked in for me that it's about these little things of like who I'm being behind the scenes, what I'm doing behind the scenes. Like, am I skipping out on my workout, or am I being consistent with it? Like, am I getting up when the alarm clock goes off, or am I snoozing it 8 times? You know what I mean? It's like who I'm actually being behind the scenes that started to click it in, where it activated me to a new level and built me to that energy. And it's like, it's, you know, it's forever. The journey's forever.
I feel like what happens is almost this feeling of like it was a disconnect. It's like you knew what you wanted and you can feel it and you can see it, but then there's something off, there's a disconnect. Like I'm here, but I want to be here. And like you said, I have to sit here. Oh wait, what does that mean now? I have to actually embody to another level what it is that I'm wanting and what it is that I'm teaching and what it is that I'm telling other people. Like there's another evolution. And I think the thing is even listening to this conversation, people are like, oh, I get it. Yeah, that makes sense. But something will click. It clicks for us. And I don't know how or when, it just clicks. It's like a moment of like, I get it now. I have to be like this now. And it's not a, oh, go do this and then people are going to feel your leadership. It's like, no. You need to feel your leadership for you first behind the scenes. And then that will translate through. And then it's just like, people will notice, but they can't tell like what the difference is. It's like, did you change your hair? There's something different about you, but it's like a frequency. It's like a feeling, but that comes from us behind the scenes. And it like how to get there, I don't even know if I can explain how to get there. You just have to know. It's a feeling of like, there's a disconnect and I know there's something else. And it's like, we have to decide, I'm going to start living for me in a different way now. And then it's like a switch goes off.
100%. I know what it is, because I can watch it and I can know it. But if I'm not actively applying it in the moment of my everyday, the knowing does nothing for you. And there's so much resistance to take the knowing to the actual embodying and being, because that's the hard stuff. Like that's the get up at 5 a.m. stuff. Not that you have to get up at 5 a.m., but it was a game changer for me once we started doing this. My husband and I, like getting up at 5 a.m., working out in the mornings. It was like, because I changed what I did, I then became the embodiment of things that I could see and I could know, but actually actively being it was a whole different story.
Because you know what I think the difference is when people aren't there yet, what are they doing when they're not doing the thing? You're in your head thinking about, I want to be there, I should be doing, overthinking, you know what I mean? All of these other things. But when you're like, no, I have to go live now, I'm going to, have new habits, I'm going to get up and exercise, I'm going to do all these things, like then you don't have time to ruminate on like the fears, the doubts, what's not working. Like you're like, I'm going to go live now. And then that's the shift. And I think like this conversation is so good because I know so many people are where you were, where I was. And it's like, oh, there's something missing. There's something else. And it's like, you've got to move now. You've got to level up for yourself now. You've got to move in a different way. You've got to treat this all differently. And it's so interesting because we all want to be it. But like you said, to think about it, there's so much resistance to go do it because fears come up.
Well, and it's going to change who you are. And I think that is the number one resistance. We're so protective of our identity, whether we realize it or not. We know, like I know, so I don't teach Instagram or anything like that. I don't have a desire to. That's why I'm in your world learning it. But I know that like in the consistency of the content that I want to create, the content that I've stacked up behind the scenes, I know in the consistency of doing that, it's going to drastically shift who I am. And I have felt that resistance, even though it's what I want, I felt the resistance of doing it because there's like this protection of like, but we're going to have to be different,
Life's about to change. And even though it's something you want, it's like that feeling of like, it's going to change now. It's going to be a new reality now. It's going to be a new level now. Like the resistance, even though it's what you're dreaming of, it's like, it's a tiny thing to be like, just go do it. But there's so much fear there. But it's like, I think also it's like who we become facing the resistance is part of the work. Because it's like it's a new level of power, it's a new level of trust, and that's part of the journey. You know what I mean? And that's why I think it's like it takes a while for people to get there. It's because who you become through the resistance is who you're meant to be when you get there on the other side.
Well, and it's the whole point. You know what I mean? Like it's the whole point of like the entire journey. It's like, why are we? I think about it, and you're gonna lose your mind because it's just right in alignment with you. Like I think about it like working out. Like you don't grow without the resistance of weights. So how are we going to grow as souls, as humans, if we're not willing to walk through the resistance and use the resistance? And then I heard something just the other day that really clicked in for me. And it was that it's like one of those things where, it's from like the Tao, like ancient teachings. Happiness isn't found in pleasure. Pleasure releases dopamine, but dopamine is not a drug, but a chemical inside of our body that always wants more. That our happiness is found in overcoming the resistance, in moving through the challenges, in facing the thing that we're afraid to do and doing it anyway. Like that's truly, happiness is actually in the things that aren't comfortable. That's where true happiness is.
And you know what? In my experience, it's like I lived most of my life not doing anything scary because I didn't want to do anything scary. But the moment I started to take risks, whatever that looked like at the beginning it was like going to the gym, or like then investing in yourself or starting a business. When I started to do that, I fell in love with taking risks. I fell in love with the process of do something scary, because the feeling of who you become while you're navigating that. Because that's also why I think it's like, this is so in alignment with chasing success or chasing money. You don't want the success, you want the journey, you want the process of becoming someone who can create this. Like that's what we're born for. But if people don't let themselves get to that point, they're just going to still be chasing the shiny thing. They get it, however they get it, and they're not happy. My happiness comes through the work it takes to get to the thing. And then I'm like, let's do another thing, because I love the process of becoming. Like that's I think is our point of doing the work that we do, is to just continually grow. So, oh my God, so good.
Game changer. I have one more question if we have it.
Yeah.
There was something you said, and I don't know when, because time just is like a non-existent thing these days, but you said something last year, I think it was, around, I still see myself as an underdog. Like I still think that people don't know. Now, granted, you blew up a whole lot since that statement. But
I still believe that.
so I want more on this. I want more of like your thoughts around it, because I so resonated with it. I think that the coaching that happens inside my containers is some of the best coaching on the internet, but I don't think people know. And I think a part of it is that ownership around what you show publicly, for sure. But I want to know, I don't know that I have a question, but I just want to know more of that like mentality that you have.
Well, it's so funny how I think about this. Like, one, I just, like, when it comes to basics, I'm like, more people should know me. More people should, like, and not from an energy of it's not good enough, but I'm like, more people should know who I am. Like, more people should know me, should know my work, should be here. Like, it's just, there's something about that. It's like the world, not everyone knows me, so I'm not done yet. I'm like an underdog. Like, you know what I mean? There's something about that. But it is 100, pardon?
Sorry, can I interrupt you and ask you on that?
Yeah.
Why do you feel like more people should know you?
Because what I'm sharing is changing people's lives. Because if people just felt or understood what I'm about, their life would change. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, once you get in, you're gonna get it. Your life is gonna change. But it's, so there's this piece to me that it's like, it's frustrating, but it's also, I see it as a challenge. I'm like, then that's the motivation to keep doing. That's the motivation to keep being seen. That's the motivation to keep being louder. That's the motivation, because I want people to get it, to see it, and to come in. You know what I mean? So that's what I feel. But exactly what you're saying is like, it comes from us. If I owned me a little bit more people would see me. There's another level to all of us, to being seen more, to owning it, to showing up how you showed up in paid containers onto your social media, so people can see that side of you. Like, where is that? Like, let's go. Like, that's what it is. So I think that it's like, there's that, but also then why do we not step into that fear? Why? Because, oh my God, if more people follow me, then more people are going to hate me, or more hate comments, or what if people don't like, there's all of that to navigate. You know what I mean? So it's like, I still, to this day, I'm like, oh, I want more, but also I still get mad when I see one person not like me. That hurts my heart. So it's like the constant upgrading of like becoming more, but what's stopping you from stepping into it and working on that piece? You know what I mean? To to grow the desire of what you actually want. But I mean, I know that it all comes back to me. It all comes back to us. If I decided to be bigger, I would go bigger. You know what I mean? So it's like, how big are you willing to go now? What moves are you willing to make? And we all have a different version of that. But honestly, I also think I have this like day one mentality of like, show up every day like it's day one. I still have to prove myself. Like, I don't think that I should just have a bigger audience out of nowhere. I don't think that people should just, you know what I mean? I think that there's an energy of, I have to work for that. So that's why I'm like, I don't ever just expect like to not do anything anymore and expect for it to grow. Like, I think that we have to be in this game of like prove it kind of energy. You know what I mean? That's why I talk about content and social media and business the way that I do. It's like, we have to show up, we have to be consistent. Like, no one is just gonna fall in out of nowhere. Like, show people what you're about. Like, that comes from us. And so that's why I work hard and, you know, show up the way that I do, because I love it. But it's like, I have to prove myself, and not from a I'm not good enough energy, but like, if I want it that big, I have to show up for it.
Put in the work. I think it's such a important piece of it, because you see a lot in the coaching industry of like, I started my business 2 weeks ago. Why am I not making money? And it's like there's something that happened where it went more, it should just be, versus like, it's a business like any other business and you've got to build the business, you know? And there was a time period in my life where I had built, I built my business really quickly out the gate. It was like 150K the first year. And so I thought it should just naturally scale on its own. Like, I built and I rested on my reputation. And when I rested, it stayed exactly the same. And it was such a frustrating time period, because I was so emphasized in that like worthiness business tie. And I felt like there's something wrong with me. I'm not doing it enough. I'm not doing whatever. There's something wrong in my energy, like all of these things. And it took me on the personal development ride of my life until I started to untangle those things and really start to see that like, there's personal healing that's 100% going to happen, but your business is your business. And this and this, they are not the same.
I see this happen. Yeah, I see this happen to so many coaches of like, you're so tangling your worthiness and your happiness to the growth. And then when the growth is not happening, then it's like, I'm not good enough. Something's wrong with me. People don't like me. I'm not worthy, blah, blah, blah. And so that's where it stalls. And so I think that it's so important to do the inner work, like you said, but also what are the things to keep your business going forward? But that's separate from your identity. That's separate from your worthiness, your happiness, all of these things. And that's the work. That's 100% the work, because if we're always attaching ourselves to the things, the results, the money, that's not sustainable. You're going to burn out. You're going to crash and burn. You're going to die. You're going to die. Like, it's just, there's no way. And so I think even similar to what, like when Ruthie asked, like, what is the future of the coaching industry, and how I said, like, it's social media and coaches being seen and creating innovative social media presences. But the people who are going to be able to do that are the people who they don't attach their worthiness to social media. Because you can't create something big if you are literally waking up every day and that's the thing validating you, because it's not going to work. Some days it's not going to grow. Some days you're going to dip. But in order to create something big, you have to have the emotional intelligence and the mindset to navigate the ups and downs of business without it making something, it means something about you. And so that's where I think the work is like, people have these big visions of like a big business and a big audience, but can you hold that? And so the work is learning how to hold it, like the human side and the business stuff at the same time.
I think it's such an important conversation, because I think that it can happen without you even realizing that that's what you're doing. Like, without realizing that having notifications on your phone and constantly checking your phone is frying you to the ground. It's pulling you out of your mission. And it's something I've started to, because I went through it and I had the awareness to see like, this is not healthy. This is not a good thing, but it took a lot of work for me to separate those things. And so now that I have, I'm teaching it. I'm putting it in there because I know that like so many women do this. And it's like, if you have gifts and abilities and a mission and a purpose and a calling, yet it's tied to your good enoughness, it's like we're halting everything, you know?
Yeah. It doesn't make sense, because it's like, how can we teach this stuff, but then we're still struggling behind the scenes? And that's where it comes back to the next level embodiment piece, the next level leadership piece is like, if I'm teaching this, but I'm still struggling with this behind the scenes, like there's a new iteration, there's a new level of all of it, you know? And it also, like, similar to what Ruthie and I were talking about, if we learn how to become, this is why I love both of you guys so much, because you're doing this work for people, is becoming more present, more embodied, more in the moment, more self-aware. Then you don't always just check the phone, or you're not just checking the numbers. It's like you're present, you're neutral, you're in your body, you're in your mind, and then you're not just doing these actions that are automated responses. You are actually just in the moment. And I think that it comes back to that. Like, we're living so much on autopilot of just do the routine, check the phone, check the money, check this. We're not thinking about what we're doing. We're just doing it. And that's where we've lost it. So, oh, this is so good. Yeah. Okay.
You have a question
Oh, Jake. Oh, we have a question?
for her? Yeah.
Oh, for Marli?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oh, okay. We're bringing up something for you.
Okay.
He can't hunt my old stuff.
Yeah, if you can see that on the screen, so it's just like a snapshot of your reels. On the very bottom right is your very first reel. And shortly after that, your views go up. You got a few over 100 grand, or sorry, 100K. And then they dipped back down again. And I was wondering, you were just talking about, you know, attaching your reach, I guess, or your social media success to your worth. Did that have an effect on you at all? Your social media going from 0 to 100 real quick and then back down?
No, because so this account is super new. I just started this account maybe a couple of months ago. So I had already disconnected that tie of numbers in my worth. So when that happened, it was such a joyful experience, because it was like, wow, I don't know what happened, but this is amazing. And then after that, I was very conscious of not trying to do it again, because I don't know why it blew up in the first place. You know what I mean? Like my message is consistent, my personality is consistent, my energy is consistent. So I don't know what made it go viral. And I also was very much aware of not trying to do that again, or like, you know what I mean? Because I didn't try to do it the first time. So how am I going to try to do it again? And I'll credit Stephanie to this, is just consistently keep showing up. Like, I'm not worried about if a bajillion people see it or not. I think it's fun. You know, we all love that like good ego boost, but I am also super aware that 100,000 views doesn't mean that 100,000 people are coming to like join my world. It's just 100,000 views, you know?
What a refreshing like perspective to have, though, because some people would have been like, see the big high and then the dip, and that would have knocked them out. But like, I feel like this answer was just like such a good example of like what we were just talking about, of like doing the work to get to a place where something like views or numbers or whatever doesn't mess with your mind.
I mean, a year ago it would have. You know? But
I love
today it's like, you know what it is today now, because I am where I am now, like emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. It's what I want to say is like, I don't have time. I don't have time to sit there and worry about it, because it's like, it takes so much of your energy to worry about it. And it's like, if I'm going to build a program that's going to train humans how to transform people, like, I don't have time to figure out how to go viral, you know? Like,
The bigger context, if that's your biggest problem, then like you don't have a big enough mission. So I love that, where it's like, I can't worry about this, I don't have time or energy, there's bigger things to worry about. Like, that's the mindset, and that's what matters. So, oh my God. All right. Well, thank you, Marli. I love you so much. It was so good to have you on. I was like, I miss Marli. I'm excited that I get to have a one-to-one conversation with you today.
I'm excited, and you will just
You know where I am. I'm not worried. I'm not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. Oh my God. Thank you, Marli. Oh, all right. Anything else that we want to add?
No, that's great.
All right, well, you guys, thank you for being here. Thank you again, Ruthie and Marli, for being on. I love you guys so much. And in the comments, if you want to come on one time and be a guest, please like write me in the comments, or write, maybe actually it was someone wrote it, I can't remember who, wrote like a big paragraph and I didn't expect it. Like, tell us why you should be on the show, or tell us like what you do, and the team will go through the comments, and we reach out to people, and we love bringing on our community and just having conversations and sharing you guys with our world. So have a fabulous rest of your day. I'll see you guys in all the other places that we're connected, and then we'll see you guys next week, same time, same place. Bye guys.